And welcome back. Well, The View from Here is a new production from the Umbrella Troupe Theater. It's a one-man show with some very wild and bizarre characters. So, what does it take to do a one-man show, and why is this a show that you need to see?
Kelly Doherty is the director, and Doug Clemons is the actor. Hi, guys. Great to see you.
Hello.
It sounds like a riddle or a trick question.
Yeah.
How many people does it take to put on a one-man show? But how many does it take?
That is a great question.
So many people. Well, it started about, I guess, 5 years ago. The show was introduced to me by a pianist in Milwaukee, Ann Van Dusen, and she says, I'm obsessed with this show. We should do it someday. I was like, okay, great. And then I just listened to the soundtrack, became obsessed with it. I want to do it too. Probably a year and a half ago, I would say. Kelly was like, I would really love to direct a musical, but I don't know where to start. And I said, well, I have one in mind. It involves just me. And if you would be willing, let's do it. So then we started looking for a producer, and then we found Umbrella Group Milwaukee. And they had a slot in their season.
So it's easily more than probably 24 people, like, to put together just to put on this production, which seems very small in scale.
Yeah.
Right.
But in actuality, it's quite huge.
It's kind of interesting because I feel like every corner of the Milwaukee theater community is somehow involved in this production, like from the Rep, Windfall Theater, Off the Wall Theater, everything from small community theaters to bigger professional theater companies. Like, everybody somehow is connected with this production.
And has helped us out in some way, which has been really, really great and very gratifying as well.
It's kind of like a 100-man production when you think about it.
So how do you describe the show? You know, we hear there's great music, you're really interested in it, you loved it, you heard it, but what is it that people will take away once they see a show like this? What's the message, what's the theme, and where does the music kind of bring you?
Sure. Do you want to take it?
Sure, I'll take this one. One of the things that I found very, very interesting about the show, and especially in today when social media is so prevalent in our lives and everything that people see about our lives is very curated. I found it very interesting that in this show, this whole show is told just from a single perspective. Sometimes one person shows, an actor will take on many different characters, so you get many perspectives of the same view. But in this case, all we're getting is what our narrator, this unnamed novelist, is telling us the whole time. So all we can do is take his word at face value, but as you learn along the way that he's not being entirely truthful with us or with himself, which I just find very, very interesting.
And what are the themes of what is he untruthful about?
What is he? I don't want to give away the ending.
Right. I don't want you to give it away,
but he's untruthful about.
Is this about relationships? Is it about family?
It's about. I would say it's about relationship and family. Most of the plot of the show is told to us through letters that the novelist is writing home to his wife.
Gotcha.
Kelly, and he tells her about her day, and even when he has a horrible day, he's been stomped upon by society, and he's trying to sell his book, and it's not happening. He's still trying to put a positive spin on it, saying, you know, really, it wasn't that bad of a day. I'm really doing okay, when in actuality he isn't. He's really struggling.
Yeah. As the show progresses, it then becomes, you know, like, what is his book actually about? Like, where is Kelly? Why is Kelly not responding to him? And it's kind of just an interesting unfolding.
Yeah.
What about the pressure to carry a one-man show? I always wonder about this, to not have anybody else on stage to play off of or to interact with.
Well, I was just hot off the tails of a two-man show, which coming into this, I was like, oh, this is probably going to be similar experience. No, not at all. To be the only person.
Two is twice as much as one.
And it's not like this is it's 70 minutes long is the whole show, but I never leave the stage, and it's mostly music. So just to make sure you're always hydrated throughout the show, to make sure you're always engaged, because if you let it slip for a second, you know, what you're doing 2 songs from now will not make sense. So it's a lot of endurance. What I've found is the most intimidating part of it is doing it in February when it's really, really cold outside and everybody has the flu. So just like staying healthy is the most intimidating thing. Like going in to work or going shopping even, I'm just like, ooh, what am I going to touch? And I don't want to be a germaphobe, but kind of have to.
Yeah, I get that.
Right. You see someone sneeze and you're like, please stay away from me.
I've got a one-man show to do it.
Oh.
I've always felt like watching one-man shows, because oftentimes I think you think, well, maybe it's going to be slow or, you know, whatever. I've felt more engaged oftentimes because I feel like you have a stronger connection to the actor because the actor's engaging more with you as an audience member versus the other people on stage. There's not like they call the fourth wall as much. You know, when there's a one-man show, you're really a part of the experience.
Absolutely.
And so I think people who haven't seen a one-man show genuinely, when they do, love them.
Yeah, and it doesn't drag. It's not. It's very quick and easy, and the music is very fast-paced. It's a lot of jazz infusion. It's everything from like contemporary musical theater to sort of jazz standard style. The whole orchestration is just a piano and a trumpet player. The only person he actually interacts with during the show is the trumpet player who plays on the street corner. You never hear his voice. He just responds in like a Charlie Brown-esque, like, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of cool. There's a lot of like dialogue between us, and even when I'm describing what happened during my day, the trumpet voice kind of will take on the voice of a receptionist or a security guard who tased me as I walked into the building.
So cool.
Yeah.
And also what's neat, the show's going on now. Tonight, they have a pay what you can performance at 7:30. So find out more now about this wonderful production. It is called The View from Here. It's running through February 28th. Be sure to check on tonight's 7:30 show, too. It's at the Solstice Theater, which is located on South Pennsylvania in St. Francis. You can find out more about this group at umbrellagroupmilwaukee.com.